Good evening. My name is Keith Hilkirk, Chancellor at Penn State Berks, and I'm delighted to extend a warm welcome to our graduating students and to family members, guests, and all members of this Penn State Berks community. Please remain standing while we begin our commencement with the national anthem. Please be seated. Commencement represents a day of celebration and also reflection and thoughtfulness. So I now ask that all of us would treat the ceremony with decorum and respect for the accomplishments of our graduates. At this time as well, please make sure that all cell phones are turned off. I would now like to recognize and thank our college marshal, Dr. Mohammed A. Ansari, Associate Professor of Mathematics, as well as University Faculty Ombudsperson. Dr. Ansari. I would also like to introduce members of the platform party. Members include Mr. Doug Tiemann, who was our keynote speaker, Dr. David Hahn, Board of Trustee member, Mr. James McCarty, Vice President of the Penn State Berks Alumni Society, Dr. Jessica Shocker, Faculty Senate Chair, and Dr. Janelle Larson, Interim Associate Dean of Academic Affairs. Each year, we invite the chair of the Penn State Berks Faculty Senate to bring greetings on behalf of our faculty. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jessica Shocker, who is an Associate Professor of Social Studies Education and Women's Studies and is chair of our Faculty Senate. Dr. Shocker earned her baccalaureate and master's degrees at Lehigh University and her PhD at Temple. She is a social justice teacher and scholar whose research focuses on innovative ways of teaching United States history that center on the experiences of women and people of color. Dr. Shocker.
Albert Einstein said, "The more I learn, the more I realize how much I do not know." This evening, you are celebrating what many people tend to think of as a culmination point. You have met benchmarks, completed projects, courses, capstones, and internships. However, most of us faculty would probably agree that this is not a culmination at all, but rather a beginning. I speak for many of us when I say we have learned more since we finished college than we did while we were in college. College has taught you more than knowledge and skills. You have learned how to continue learning for the duration of your lives. You will continue to learn as you move through various phases: career, graduate school, relationships, friendships, parenthood, community engagement, spiritual participation, and more. My hope for my students and for all of you is that you feel invigorated by how college has prepared you to be a learner for life. Although you all leave college with a diploma and a GPA, do not allow that GPA to define you. Whether you are at the top of your class or just barely made it through, grades don't actually tell us much about a whole person or about a person's whole college experience. In a few short years, no one will care what your GPA was, whether it was high or low. Some scholars in education go so far as to argue that that grades can even be dangerous, making us think our learning is over and our value has been measured and is permanent. In other words, if you are a high-achieving student, do not become complacent. You still have work to do. If you are an average or below average student, that does not mean you didn't learn or grow while you were here at Penn State Berks. Perhaps you overcame tremendous personal challenges to be sitting where you are today. All of you, regardless of the numbers on your transcript, have a unique college experience, a first chapter of your lifelong journey as adult learners. And all of you now have a responsibility to write the next chapter, taking the lessons you've learned here from all of us, faculty and staff at Penn State Berks. Learning and the knowledge of how to learn and think critically will always be your ally in life, if you allow it to be. There will be a time, likely many times, when you will be challenged. Your judgment will be questioned at work, or your experience will be doubted. Maybe you will make a big mistake on a group project in graduate school and have to decide how and if you can make it right. In each of these instances, the correct decision is to draw upon your knowledge of how to learn. Learning requires us to be humble and to admit that we always have room to improve. A person can be incredibly effective and talented and powerful and still have a lot to learn. In fact, the best leaders and the most inspiring people I know are those who believe they always have something to learn. Further, you never know where an opportunity to learn will come from. It might not be while you're sitting in a formal work training or taking a master's level class. It might be when something in the mail arrives from IKEA and you have to put it together by yourself. It could be an interaction you have with your child's bus driver. It could be how you handle and seek support in a health crisis. All of these cases, it may be tempting to assume you know it all, to ignore the directions that accompany the bookshelf, to roll your eyes at your child's bus driver who just wants to shed insight on your child's experiences on the ride to school, to get nasty with the healthcare professional doing her or his best in a challenging system. Instead, breathe. Draw upon how you learned how to learn and to think and to reflect here at Penn State Berks. Utilize strategies you practiced in a laboratory or around a circle of desks. Believe that learning can come from any experience, from any person. No one is too good, too smart, or too experienced to learn. When I graduated from college and started my first job, I was a young and brand new high school teacher, history teacher. My students were only a few years younger than me, and sometimes I felt like I was faking it. I had to study the material I was teaching the night before each lesson. I spent weekends at Barnes & Noble reading books like World History for Dummies and watching the History Channel to get tidbits of fun and interesting information that I couldn't find in a textbook. Still, students would stump me with their questions. The hardest questions were not questions I could look up on Google or in an encyclopedia. Rather, the toughest and most interesting questions don't have clear-cut answers. Some of the questions I got like this were, how did Copernicus get the word out when he wanted to claim the Earth wasn't the center of the universe? It's not like he could just put it on the internet. Or the question that has most shaped my career as a teacher scholar today, Why in a world history class do we only learn about white people? I have learned just as much, if not more, from my students' curiosity over the years as I have learned from conducting research and reading books. Their questions, your questions, have inspired me to keep learning so I can be a better teacher. I ask you today to be open to the idea that even as a college graduate, whether you become a business owner, an engineer, a writer, a scientist, an occupational therapist, or something else, you will not only learn from your superiors. Business owners, you will learn from your customers and your competitors. Engineers, you will learn from your plant operators. Writers, you will learn from your readers. Scientists, you will learn from questions that science deniers will ask you. Occupational therapists, you will learn by listening to the stories of your patients, loved ones, and caregivers. Becoming a college graduate brings with it a distinct set of privileges and responsibilities. You now have not only the opportunity to be a lifelong learner, but the obligation to be a lifelong learner, so you can go out into the world and do something good with your life. The world you have inherited from the generations before you is complicated. Though you have much to be excited about, our world also has profound problems that will be on your generation to solve. Though like anyone, I am troubled by climate change, divisive politics, and issues of social justice, I also have profound hope, because every day I work with young people like you who make me believe that the future will be bright. I see it every day in my classrooms and in my students' work. Never stop learning. Hold on to it for dear life. Allow learning to be your ally, your friend, your conscience, your responsibility, and above all, your joy. I'd like to close this speech with a quote about learning. Through my education, I didn't just develop skills. I didn't just develop the ability to learn, but I developed confidence. Michelle Obama. Congratulations, graduates.
Thank you, Dr. Schocker. It's now my pleasure to welcome our keynote speaker. Doug Tieman's biography may also be found in your program. Douglas Tieman has served as president and CEO of Caron Treatment Centers since 1995. Under his leadership, Caron provides an extensive continuum of care for teens, young adults, older adults, and families at its facilities in Pennsylvania and Florida, and its regional recovery centers in Atlanta, Philadelphia, New York City, New England, and Washington, D.C. He has more than 30 years of leadership experience in addiction treatment and industry positions. A longtime advocate for patient-centered care, he has called for the implementation of standards and outcome-based treatment in the addiction treatment sector. Most recently, he testified before the House Energy and Commerce Committee's Oversight and Investigations Subcommittee on the issue of patient brokering and fraud in the addiction treatment sector. Under his direction, Caron adopted the Addiction Treatment Patients' Bill of Rights and is working with other national centers to improve the standard of care for those struggling with the chronic treatable disease of addiction. He began his career with the Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation and has served as chair of the National Association of Addiction Treatment Providers and is a member of the American College of Addiction Treatment Administrators. Following undergraduate degrees from both Concordia and Northwood universities, he completed the Minnesota Management Institute at the University of Minnesota and received an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from Concordia University. The Philadelphia Inquirer has named him an emerging icon for his work in advancing addiction treatment and research. He has also published several sector-related articles and the book, Flying Over the Pigpen, Tried and True Leadership Lessons from Growing Up on a Farm. Please join me now in welcoming our keynote speaker, Mr. Doug Tiemann.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hill Kirk. Honored guests, family and friends, and most importantly, the 2019 December graduates of Penn State University Berks campus. I am honored and privileged to have an opportunity tonight to share a few thoughts with you. And as I thought about my thoughts, I reflected on the numerous college graduations that I have been at, my own, my 4 children, relatives' children, some 15 in all. And as I reflected on those commencement exercises and the keynote speaker, I tried to consider some of the main themes, topics that they shared. I racked my brain. I could come up with nothing. Embarrassing that I couldn't remember one single thing that a person like me had shared that I should remember. In fact, it's even more embarrassing to say, out of those 15, I can't even remember the names of any of the commencement speakers. So I began to wonder, am I unusual? My family might think I am. But I wanted to see if I was unusual as it related to this, so I did some research. Shockingly, I found that the vast majority of the people in rooms like this, 5 years later, don't remember the message. And unless the speaker was a celebrity, and by the way, just in case you're wondering, I am not, they didn't remember the name of the speaker as well. There is a notable exception. Morehouse College, spring of 2019, Robert Smith, not a celebrity, is going to be remembered by that graduating class because during his speech he said, "I will pay for all outstanding college loans that any of you have." Bad news for all of you. I'm not Robert Smith. Sorry about that. So with this sort of theme of not remembering, what could we remember tonight? So I want to start with maybe the most important thing to remember is to congratulate yourself. This has been a busy week. Finals, paperwork, goodbyes, maybe for some of you, packing up dorms and apartments, celebrations to think about getting to. And oh, by the way, next week is a holiday season, so lots on our mind, so it's easy to not remember some important things. But your graduating from Penn State University is an incredible accomplishment. This degree, this education, is a key that will unlock doors of opportunity and doors for success. It's something that my wife and I have seen with 2 of our 4 children who have a Penn State University degree, and we have been impressed with what that diploma and that education has done for them as they have launched their career. So whether you sprinted to the finish line to get your degree in a couple of years, or whether it was a marathon for you and it took a decade or more, the important thing is you persevered. And whether you worked hard or worked just hard enough to get this degree, the important thing is you got this degree. So the first thing we're going to remember to do tonight is to congratulate ourselves, and I'm going to help you do that. We're going to see how well you follow instructions. When I count to 3, you're going to raise your right hand and you're going to pat yourself on the back. Now be real careful. You got this mortar board up here. Don't knock it off. Those with you that have rings, don't get it caught on the tassel. So when I count to 3, we're going to pat ourselves on the back and congratulate ourselves. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if you can do that. Attaboy, attagirl, good job. Okay. Check one off for tonight. One thing that we did not forget to do. Well, we don't accomplish something like this on our own. There are people in your lives that have helped you get here. Parents, grandparents, spouse. We need to remember to say thank you to them tonight. And I want to make sure that we do that. And this may be a little chaotic, but it'll make this night a little more memorable for you, because when I count to 3, what we're going to do is we're going to stand up, and you're going to look around this room where you think your loved ones are. You're going to wave to them and say thank you in unison. Mom, Dad, Grandpa, Sally, Fred, whoever it is. A little chaotic, but I want to make sure we do not forget to say thank you. So let's, 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we can do this. Good job. A Penn State diploma helps you follow direction. I'm quite impressed with that. That's very good. Saying thank you, while those that love you do this because they love you, as a parent of 4 children who graduated from college, it means a lot to hear you say thank you. Thank you for helping me get through this. And since this is a night of not remembering, you're not going to remember me, and you're not going to remember my message. So I'm going to tell you a story. And this story you might remember because I've remembered this story for 4.5 decades from when my father first told it to me when I was 19 years old. And it has some lessons, and we're going to see if you can sort of understand the lessons and get the lessons. The setting for this is rural Missouri, a pork farm. We like calling it a pork farm. Thought that sounded a little more sophisticated than raising pigs, hence the tricky name of my book, Flying Over the Pig Pen. Not a New York bestseller, but a very interesting book nonetheless. Great Depression. Quarter of all American farmers lost their farm because they couldn't keep the mortgage on their farm current. So money, the economy, very important. But my grandmother actually saved the family farm during the Great Depression by raising chickens. Chickens lay eggs every day, take the eggs into town, sell them for cash, able to keep the note current. So one day in the 1930s, my grandfather gave my father a very important assignment. He was supposed to ride his bicycle into town 4 miles away, train station there, going to deliver some chickens. Waits dutifully for the train shows up, he gets a wire cage, straps it on the back of his bicycle. Begins the 4-mile ride home. The first 3 miles would go easy for him on a gravel road until he got to the gravel road. I don't know if any of you have ever tried to ride a bicycle on a gravel road. It is not easy. And remember, this is a 1930s bike with something on the back and a teenager riding the bike. Well, as fate would have it, he doesn't go 100 yards, hits some loose gravel, bike falls over, cage falls on the ground, pop comes open, chickens everywhere. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to herd chickens by yourself. Growing up on a farm, I can tell you, impossible. Impossible. In fact, you'll look quite foolish if you try to do it by yourself. So after my father kind of gathered his composure a little bit, hopped on the bike, rode down the road another quarter of a mile where we had some neighbors, recruited them and their kids to come and help him. So they developed a plan, get the chickens all kind of corralled in a corner, pick them off one by one, put them in the cage. He decided now to walk the bicycle the rest of the way home. He gets home, and his father looks at his watch and realizes he's some 4 hours later than what he had anticipated. So he begins grilling my father. And my father could see that this has a bad ending coming around, so he decides to cut through the chase, and he said, "Dad, good news. All 15 chickens are back in the cage." My grandfather looked at him and said, "Well, that's curious, because you only started out with 12. Now, you're wondering where the 3 chickens came from, just like I did when I was 19 years old, but let's forget about those 3 chickens for a second. Let's take a look at the lessons of the chicken story. The first thing that my father did was he took responsibility for his situation. He was a teenager. He could have gotten on the bike and said, "Hey, I'm a kid. I did best I could, I blew it." But he took responsibility. The second thing that he did was he asked for help. He knew he couldn't do this by himself. The third thing he did, along with that help, developed a plan, worked hard, and caught the chickens. Wouldn't have been very impressive if he would have sat there and let the neighbors do it for him. And then a fourth thing that he did was changed his behavior, decided, you know what, I'm going to walk my bike the rest of the way home. And he ended up with more than he bargained for. So how does that relate to you graduating from college today? The first thing that I want to say is taking responsibility. Everybody here is different. Some of you have debt, some of you don't. Some of you have a job, some of you don't. Some of you have a really good job, some of you don't. Some of you may be going to a location you want to go to, some maybe not. You can make excuses for that, or you can take responsibility for coming up with a plan. The second part is, don't do that by yourself, ask for help. The most important thing that I did for my career was get a mentor. I'm going to encourage you to get a mentor. A lot of material out there about a mentor, how to use them. We don't know what we don't know. So let's find somebody who does know and can guide us on our career. The research around mentorship is abundant. People who get mentors are more successful, happier, and achieve their goals far more frequently. The third part of the chicken story, have a plan and work hard at it. Developing a plan. Find something that you're passionate about, something you enjoy doing. And again, the research is abundant. People with a plan are far more successful than those who don't have a plan. People who write down their plan are even more successful than those who just have a plan. So write that plan down. And then the fourth part of the chicken story is when you make a mistake, and God, I hope you do make mistakes, because if you don't make a mistake, you haven't stretched. But when you make mistakes, change your behavior. Learn from that. And you'll end up with far more than you bargained for as well. So on this night of not remembering, we're going to remember first and foremost to congratulate ourselves tonight, but congratulate yourself all along your journey. It is incredibly motivating to say, attaboy and attagirl. Number two, we're going to say thank you to those people that help you tonight, but all along the way. People are even more likely to help you when you show your appreciation to them. And number three, when you see an egg, you see a chicken, maybe even see a bicycle once in a while, think of the chicken story and the 4 lessons of the chicken story, which are be responsible for your situation, get a mentor, develop a plan, and change your behavior when you make a mistake, and you'll end up with far more than you bargained for. So my hope for all of you is a great success, and as you think about that success, I want to come back to those 3 chickens. Where did those 3 chickens came from? If you thought they were our neighbor's chickens, you're correct. So my grandparents invited the neighbors over on Sunday night for a chicken dinner. Whose chickens were they? We're not real sure. But the important part of that is when you achieve more than you bargained for, share the wealth. Say thank you. Give back. Congratulations. Good luck. God bless. And while you may not remember all that happened here this night, always remember this night. You've earned it. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug, for serving as keynote. We're going to have you go home with your own personal Nittany Lion.
I love it. I love it.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, now we move to today's main event, the conferring of degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may know, the legal corporate body of the Pennsylvania State University is its Board of Trustees. This is the body that by our charter is given overall responsibility for the governance, welfare, and all other interests pertaining to the university. Representing the Board of Trustees today is Dr. David Hahn. Dr. Hahn is Professor of Surgery, Radiology, and Engineering Design at Penn State Colleges of Medicine and Engineering. Joined the Board of Trustees in July 2015 as the academic trustee after being nominated by the University Faculty Senate. A graduate of Eberly College of Science, Dr. Hahn earned his BS in biology from Penn State in 1988, his medical degree from Harvard Medical School in 1992, and his MS in Health Evaluation Sciences from the Penn State College of Medicine in 2005. Dr. Hahn completed his residency in vascular surgery at Mayo Clinic and has served as director of the Vascular and General Surgery Training Program at the Penn State Hershey Medical Center in the College of Medicine. He is a member of the Penn State Faculty Senate and has served on the Special Committee for University Governance from 2012 to 2013. He also served as president of the Penn State Alumni Association from 2007 to 2009, was recognized as a Penn State Alumni Fellow in 2011. In 2014, he was named a Distinguished Educator at the Penn State College of Medicine. We are very pleased that he is with us today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. David Hahn.
Thank you, Chancellor Hill-Kirk, for that kind introduction. And thank you to the faculty and staff, alumni, family, friends, and especially all of you, our soon-to-be graduates. Thank you for inviting me to be here with you tonight. You know, it's interesting, as a physician, we're trained to look for what's wrong, and more importantly, how to fix it. In driving out here this afternoon, quite honestly, all I could think about was there's got to be a better way to get between Hershey and Reading. Am I right? Anyone else here make that trip? Because I was here just a week ago. As a vascular surgeon, I operate on blood vessels. And when we're operating, we often need to have diagnostic X-ray imaging right there in the operating room. And while we can wheel in a portable X-ray machine, it's really preferable to have that X-ray equipment built right into the room. And so down at Hershey, we're looking to upgrade our intraoperative imaging system. So where did we go to see the latest, most updated technology? Not far. Right here around the corner, Penn State Health St. Joe's. But where would we go if we wanted to visit one of the 3 2019 Penn State Teaching Fellows? Not far. Cheryl Nicholas. She's right here at Penn State Berks. What if we wanted to spend some time with Penn State's Information Sciences and Technology Faculty Member of the Year? Not far. Mahdi Nazaruddin. Nazaruddin. Got it. He's right here at Penn State Berks. Or maybe we'd want to sample something from one of the medal winners at the 2019 American Culinary Federation competition. Perhaps his cashew and popcorn encrusted bronzino. Where would we go? Not far. Nate Fox. He's right here at Penn State Berks. Or how about if we wanted to meet the recipient of the 2019 Ray Fortunato Award for Excellence in Human Resources? Where to? Not far. Valerie Henny-Hallman. She's right here at Penn State Berks. Or what about a campus that, according to a recent study, contributed nearly $100 million to the Pennsylvania economy and supported over 1,300 Pennsylvania jobs. A campus that tonight is conferring degrees on 173 students, 54% of which are women, in programs ranging from rehabilitation and human services to radiological science. I need to talk to some of you radiologic science folks, by the way, when we're done here tonight. Not far. Think you know the answer? You're right here at Penn State Berks. And so on this wonderful evening, the celebration and recognition of all of your hard work, dedication, and persistence, let me continue the tradition of passing on to you the two most important pieces of unsolicited advice that I've ever received. The first one's pretty easy. Marry up. Find a partner in life who is smarter than you, thinks faster than you, is better looking than you, and convince them to spend the rest of their life with you. And then live each and every day from that moment on, earning their love and respect. Marry up. Trust me, it works. The second one is to learn to say yes. I'm sure you've already heard and will continue to hear. Learn to say no. Protect your time. Don't get overextended. But I think it's the other way around. Learn to say yes. There's someone here who can tell this story better than me, but I'm not going to let him. Muhammad Ansari served as faculty senate chair and knows better than anyone that being the faculty member on the board of trustees is not something that I aspired or planned to do. It simply came along when I was in the right place at the right time, and I had learned to say yes. Learn to say yes. Learn to say yes to sorting through donations at your local food bank. Learn to say yes to staying a little late to help out at work because your colleague had to stay home with a sick child. Learn to say yes to adding on that one extra client at the end of a busy day, or sticking around for that one last customer, or seeing that one extra patient, because you may be the one who makes the difference. You, all 173 of you, are joining hundreds of thousands of Penn Staters who every day are informing, involving, and inspiring the world around us. Learn to say yes. Oh, and don't forget to marry up. Go out there and make the difference. We're counting on it. And now I turn to my official duty. Dr. Hilkirk, by virtue of the authority vested in and as approved by the Board of Trustees of the Pennsylvania State University, I authorize you, as a designee of the President, to confer on each of these candidates the degree earned as certified by the appropriate college faculty and dean.
Thank you, Trustee Hahn, for the board's and President Barron's authorization to confer degrees for today's candidates. The names of the candidates are printed in your program. I now call upon our Interim Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Dr. Janelle Larson, to preside over the conferring of the associate degrees. Dr. Larson.
Will the candidates for the associate degree in the Berks College and from other campuses in the university who chose to receive their degrees here at our commencement today, please rise. Dr. Hilkirk, I am pleased to present these candidates who have met the requirements for the associate degrees in their majors.
Thank you. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I now confer upon you the associate degree. Please cross the stage to receive your recognition and return to your seats to be seated.
Sandra Marie Gingiacomo, Business Administration. Ashley M. Diaz, Letters, Arts, and Sciences. Bethany J. Rizumonian, Occupational Therapy. Jenna Baltz, Occupational Therapy. Emily G. Bowman, Occupational Therapy, magna cum laude. Anna J. Brubaker, Occupational Therapy. Mackenzie Lee Caffrey, Occupational Therapy. Evangeline Louise Donnelly, Occupational Therapy, magna cum laude. Megan Helen Donahue, Occupational Therapy. Sierra B. Fleur, Occupational Therapy. Elizabeth A. Good, Occupational Therapy, summa cum laude. Kristen Joyce Schatz, Occupational Therapy, cum laude. Alyssa Christine Schult, Occupational Therapy, magna cum laude. Julia Michelle Sensing, Occupational Therapy. Kelsey Ann Smith, Occupational Therapy. Kira Noel Thomas, Occupational Therapy, magna cum laude. Cassidy Ruth Yeager, Occupational Therapy. Brittany Bryce, Radiological Sciences, Schuylkill Campus. Alexis Donnella Cranfield, Radiological Sciences, Schuylkill Campus. Angela Friedman, Radiological Sciences, Schuylkill Campus. Ashley Lynn Hart, Letters, Arts, and Sciences with a concurrent major in Radiological Sciences, Schuylkill Campus. Kayla Kelly, Radiological Sciences, Schuylkill Campus. Taylor M. Maroon, Radiological Sciences, Schuylkill Campus, cum laude. Jenna Schaefer, Radiological Sciences, Schuylkill Campus. Cheyenne Wassel, Radiological Sciences, Schuylkill Campus, magna cum laude. Abigail Morgan Watson, Letters, Arts, and Sciences with a concurrent major in Radiological Sciences, Schuylkill Campus, cum laude. Kayla Wilburn, Radiological Sciences, Schuylkill Campus. Would the associate degree candidates please rise? On your mortarboard, you have a tassel. The position is an indication of the person's graduation status. Those of you who are graduating now have your tassel on your right. As a symbol of being a graduate, I invite you to shift your tassel to the left side of your mortarboard. You may be seated.
I now call upon Dr. Larson to preside over the conferring of the baccalaureate degrees. Dr. Larson.
Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degree in the Berks College and from other campuses in the university who choose to receive their recognition at our commencement today, please rise. Dr. Hilkirk, I am pleased to present our graduates.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I now confer upon you the baccalaureate degree. Please be seated. Please now rise per row as called. Cross the stage to receive your recognition, return to your seats, and be seated.
Jamie S. Seaman, Information Sciences and Technology, summa cum laude. I was going to say, I could go ahead. That's not looking good. Okay. Let's do a couple. Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
Thank you.
It's starting to get nervous.
They might need to have somebody slide over here because they need some. There's supposed to be someone at the top to open the gate. Lindsay Nicole Fessler, Accounting. Nicole Renee Johnson, Accounting. Mark Edward Schaffer, Accounting. Jeffrey B. Smith, Accounting. Matthew Steckel, Accounting. Thomas J. Ulrich, Accounting. Jenniken Hahn, Applied Psychology. Stephen A. Levere, Applied Psychology. Carly Michelle Miller, Applied Psychology.
It's Vernon, I got cut off.
Jennifer Ann Vernon, Applied Psychology. Gurnur Kaur, Biology with a minor in Psychological Science. Elizabeth Reynolds, Hospitality Management. Ashley S. Wright, Hospitality Management.
The sound guy asked that you speak a little louder.
Oh, thank you. Ann K. Hartinger, Business, Lehigh Valley Campus. Zoe Olivia Corpy, Biology. Marca Jocelyn Maradigana Bonilla, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. Brian Tatum, Biology. Edmund N. Nathan, Caitlin Rose Allen, Business. Robert Joseph Balderman, Business. Joseph Edmund Bacchus, Business. Brandon Maximo Cruz, Business. Joshua Paul Davenport, Business, cum laude. Bridget Maureen Dugan, Business. Trevor Ryan Hendricks, Business. Christine Humer, Business. Madeline M. Lamana, Business. Patrick Michael Langan-Illy, Business. Bruce Darrell Wagner, Business, Schuylkill Campus. Nicole Aper Leguzuman, Business. James J. Matthias Jr., Business. Robert Thomas Pavillard, Business, with a minor in Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Kellen Nicole Redke, Business. Franklin Reifsnyder, Business. Jordan S. Strepko, Business, magna cum laude. Joran Vargas, Business. Hezekiah. B. Baines Simmons, Communication, Arts, and Sciences, with a minor in Business. Wait a second. Let it clear. Right. Martin Hinton, Communication, Arts, and Sciences. Anthony J. Maridinali, Communication, Arts, and Sciences, with a minor in Business. Tony Alexis Morales, Communication, Arts, and Sciences. Maria E. Ortiz, Business, World Campus. Francisco Jose Moreno Castellon, Criminal Justice. Gerardo Francisco Sosa Gutierrez, Criminal Justice, with a minor in Spanish. Alexis J. Goldwire, Criminal Justice. Jacob B. Moyer, Criminal Justice, with a minor in Psychological Science. Brittany Lynn Neiman, Criminal Justice. Fadi Jamil Aboud, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Joseph Anthony Dombrowski, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Jose G. Escalera, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. We want them to hear your name, so we'll wait a second. Joseph Isaac Gorman, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Jacob Hare, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Andrew Christian Jones, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Andrew David Carafa, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Nathan Carl Long, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Chelsea Jordan Wentworth, Psychology, Schuylkill Campus. Tommy Hai Gwen, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Tito Emmanuel Orge, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Ryan H. Pauley, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Thomas Francis Perry III, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Alyssa Nicole Pfeiffer, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Thomas George Wolf, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Jeffrey R. Zook, Electromechanical Engineering Technology. Christine Helen Baldwin, Hospitality Management. Carissa Gawker, Hospitality Management. Jillian McSherry, Hospitality Management. Christina Nancy Pyrus, Hospitality Management. Miranda Reedy, Hospitality Management. Jafet Alfaro, Information Sciences and Technology with a minor in Security and Risk Analysis. Cademan James Delacchio, Information Sciences and Technology with a minor in Security and Risk Analysis.
Last name is pronounced Geis.
Austin Tanner Geis, Information Sciences and Technology, Lehigh Valley Campus, cum laude. Mirhar Kapita, Information Sciences and Technology with a minor in Business, Security and Risk Analysis. I'm so sorry. Sheree Alexandria Dockery, Business. Summer Shonely, Information Sciences and Technology. Morgan Beck, Kinesiology. Evan McDonald, Kinesiology. Jessica Rosick, Kinesiology. Michaela Ann Smith, Kinesiology. Jasmine Shakira Stansbury, Kinesiology. Maybelly Augustine, Rehabilitation and Human Services. Caitlin Bennett, Rehabilitation and Human Services. Carissa Sue Blimline, Rehabilitation and Human Services. Jamie L. Briner, Health Policy and Administration, World Campus. Brianna R. Diefenbach, Science, University Park, with a minor in Psychological Science.
It's Brianna Cherise Holland.
Brianna Cherise Holland, Rehabilitation and Human Services, with a minor in Psychological Science. Hannah Culp, Rehabilitation and Human Services. Brandon Lee Redinger, Rehabilitation and Human Services.
It's Maria.
Maria V. Rojas, Rehabilitation and Human Services, with a minor in Psychological Science. Kayla Scarpill, Rehabilitation and Human Services, with a minor in Psychological Science, cum laude. Marina A. Aziz, Science. Chelsea D. Gockley, Science. Andrew Wood, Science. Chris Vlishak, Security and Risk Analysis, with a minor in Information Sciences and Technology. James Russell Stout, Professional Writing. Alexis Carey Bowser, Biology, Schuylkill Campus, with a minor in Business.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the 2019 graduates. Please stand. Thank you, thank you. You may be seated. Well done. It's now my pleasure to introduce our student marshal for this evening's commencement, Jamie Seaman. Jamie grew up in Pennsylvania and first started attending Penn State Berks part-time, later shifting to full-time attendance as an adult student. Jamie has earned the Bachelor of Science degree in Information Sciences and Technology. Upon graduation, Jamie plans on finding a job to be closer to friends and family. Jamie.
Before I begin, a few acknowledgments. Thank you to Penn State for this opportunity to speak before you today and for nurturing my talents in a friendly and supportive environment. Thank you to those who sponsored my scholarships, making my college years much less stressful. And thank you to my parents for raising and supporting me throughout the years. It is winter now, traditionally a time for introspection and celebration. Both are very relevant to us today as graduates. And like the year's seasons, we too have passed through different periods in our education, each with their own unique challenges and experiences. Through introspection, we see how our past shaped us into who we are today. Though long since past, Like summer days gone by, high school was an important time in our lives. Our schedules were still dictated for us, growing ever more stifling, yet leaving us largely free of responsibility and allowing us to focus on exploring ourselves and our futures. Thinking about college, we set out onto the path to becoming an adult. Like fall is the season between summer and winter, for many, college was a time between our teens and full adulthood. We traded old expectations for new responsibilities of our own, such as getting to class on time, managing budgets, and eating more than just ice cream. In college, we could experiment with the independence of adulthood in a low-risk environment. We also had reason to be thankful for the support from many adults during college. For example, Dennis and Joyce Mays and Mr. Fleming and Mr. Toon assisted me financially through scholarships. Mr. Fleming and Mr. Toon also reached out to Mr. Weidenhammer to help me with finding an internship. Finally, the faculty and staff made completing my degree at Penn State not only possible, but also enjoyable. Just as fall gives way to winter, tonight we graduate from college and enter our lives as full adults. It is an exciting time full of tantalizing yet intimidating new opportunities. For years, our lives revolved around school and its demands. Now, we are free to find who we are outside of education as we pursue happiness through setting new goals for ourselves. For me, the path to happiness is simple. Step 1, get a programming job. Step 2, do something. Step 3, profit. Well, maybe it isn't that simple. Finding happiness will be different for each of us. Perhaps it involves getting your dream job, or moving to the beach, or something else entirely. But even if the path is long and difficult, every step taken is a step closer to achieving your goals. It is winter now, and this year soon draws to a close. Tonight, we celebrate our graduation from Penn State. Though our time at college is over, just as the year's end does not mean an end to the seasons, so too do the seasons of learning continue. Again, thank you to Penn State for the opportunity to speak before all of you, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Jamie.
Will the baccalaureate graduates please rise? As a symbol of being a graduate, I invite you to shift your tassel to the left side of your mortarboard. Congratulations, you may be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Larson. Well, it's not until this point in commencement that I can introduce the next speaker, because his presentation is for Penn State alumni, and you became alumni just seconds ago. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. James McCarty, Vice President of the Penn State Berks Alumni Society. James is a 2013 graduate of Penn State Berks with a baccalaureate degree in applied psychology. He also earned a master's degree in higher education from Penn State in 2016. James.
Thank you, Dr. Hillkirk. Congratulations, Penn State graduates. The Penn State Alumni Association celebrates your successes and welcomes you into a proud global network of Penn Staters. Your Alumni Association is powered by pride. More than 172,000 Alumni Association members keep a strong connection to our world-class university through membership in the Penn State Alumni Association. Today, on behalf of the Alumni Association, I am honored to share our gift with you, a one-year free membership to the Penn State Alumni Association. Your membership keeps you in touch with Penn State and connects you with more than 300 geographically dispersed alumni chapters, interest groups, and college and campus societies. No matter where you'll live, what you've studied, or which campus you've attended, the Penn State Alumni Association has a group that matches your interests. After graduation, once you are settled, reach out to your local Penn State alumni group. Your Penn State family will be thrilled to hear from you. And in the coming years, when you visit Penn State, we hope that you enjoy your time back on campus and stop by the Janssen office building. With that, we would like to ask our new graduates to please rise. Would all other Penn State alumni here today please rise as well? Look at the power of the Penn State Network. It gives me great pleasure to induct all graduating students of the Penn State University into the Alumni Association. Congratulations again, graduates. Your hard work, dedication, perseverance, and passion has paid off. We are! We are! We are! Thank you! Please be seated.
Thank you, James, for your leadership and hard work on behalf of Penn State Berks and the Penn State Alumni Association, and for being here this evening to welcome our newest graduates. Graduates, as I mentioned to you prior to the ceremony, there is a group of people here this evening, beyond your family and friends, who have supported you, mentored you, and are delighted to witness your success this evening. And so now I would like to compliment our talented faculty and staff who have been teachers, advisors, friends, and mentors in your educational pursuits. They, as I mentioned to you, are so proud of you and want to hear in the future about your continuing successes. So please stay connected with them as well. And now I'd like to ask all of the members of our faculty and staff, role models and mentors for our graduates, to please stand and allow the graduates and their families to thank you with a well-deserved round of applause. We have two other very important leadership groups here this evening. Our Penn State Berks Advisory Board, which plays a very important role in enabling communication and counsel and support from our larger community, as well as our College Administrative Council, which provides some very important leadership at the campus. I'd like to ask members of the Advisory Board, as well as our Administrative Council, to please stand now and be recognized as well. Thank you. Well, for more than 1.5 centuries, Penn State has evolved from graduating the first class of 11 students to conferring well over 500,000 degrees. Penn State alumni have gone on to serve as astronauts, to lead Fortune 500 companies, to serve as governors, earn the Nobel Prize, author best-selling books and novels, and to direct and lead humanitarian efforts across the globe. We know that you are going to make your alma mater proud as well. And we congratulate you on your success this evening, but we also, as I mentioned a moment ago, we encourage you to always view Penn State and Penn State Berks specifically as a second home. To come back often, whenever possible, come back, visit your alumni, your faculty and staff mentors. As I mentioned as well, homecoming at Penn State Berks has truly become, over the last decade, an exciting event with increasing numbers of alumni returning each year to Penn State Berks. I speak to you now not only as a chancellor, but also as an alum myself, and as the son, husband, and father, as well as spouse of Penn State alumni. You can and should be proud of your accomplishments as you join thousands upon thousands of Penn State alumni. Everyone here who has supported and enabled you throughout your time at Penn State Berks wishes you Godspeed as you move on with your life. Now I have several announcements before we close. Diplomas will be mailed to your homes in approximately 4 weeks. I'd like to thank our sign language interpreter this evening, Stephanie Faines. Thank you for being here. I would also like to thank all of the people, faculty, staff, and students who have assisted in organizing and enabling this commencement. This is the first time that we have held our commencement at Santander. I'd like to thank all of our friends at Santander as well for their support leading up to and during this evening's event. Let's give all of these people a round of applause. We are now going to close the ceremony with the singing of the Penn State Alma Mater, which is printed on the inside front cover of your program. After the Alma Mater, Dr. Ansari, our college marshal, will signal the platform party to lead the recessional down the aisle to where the honor corridor will be formed. I ask graduates to remain in recession through the honor corridor, and I ask the audience to please remain in place while the graduates recess. Thank you to the degree recipients for giving us reason for celebrating this evening. Best wishes to all of you for a safe and joyous holiday. And now, please stand for the alma mater.